Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on their road to success.
Hey, what's going on, travelers? It is Ricky Venters and Marlon Madden back with you for another week of the Success Journey Show. Marlon, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Living the dream, brother. Living the dream.
I love it. I love it, man. I wish I could say the same, man, but I'm sitting here medicated up, man.
Man, what's been going on?
Yeah, listen, I've gone years without any problems with my teeth, man. No problems at all. No cavities ever. And the other day, man, I wake up in the middle of the night and my tooth is on fire. I'm like, yo, what is that pain in my mouth? It's so foreign to me. I don't even know what it is. I'm like, yo, what is this? I never had anything like this before. And come to find out, man, I think I have a cavity. So I'm going to the dentist tomorrow, man, and let them, assess it and do what they got to do. But I'm in pain, bro.
So when you're telling your kids don't eat those sweets, you've been sneaking the sweets in the closet and eating them.
Nah. I don't know what it is, man. I'm not gonna put put myself out there like that. I don't know. This is going out to the world, man. They listen to this too. You know?
Okay. All right. All right. Hey, Ricky, let's get into it, man.
Absolutely. Let's jump in, man.
Hey, world travelers. Today we have a very special guest, and he's hailing all the way from China. Jaleel, are you there?
Hey, what's up, bro? What's going on?
Yes, sir. Man, thank you so much for joining us, man. We are so honored, man, just to have you on the show with us today and just chop it up and just learn a little bit more about you and hear a little bit more about your journey, man.
Thanks. Applause to you guys doing this great creative project here. We definitely need this throughout the world, so kudos to you as well.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. What time is it over there, man?
Oh, bro, it's like 9:55 a.m. over here, bright and sunny. Amazing. A little chilly, though.
Okay. Hey, Jaleel, for those people that don't know you out there, why don't you just give them a little synopsis of what you're all about?
Well, I'm a game changer. That's a short way to say it. I'm at China I'm not looking, I already found it, but I would say I'm changing the way Chinese people look at us by being creative and providing opportunities in different industries, in the business community, the fashion community, and more importantly, the law community. So we have many different projects that have been kicked off since 3 years ago, and we have a nice set of roads set for anyone who's relocating to China. There's a platform now with tons of support and resources for anybody who's looking to travel and head out east.
Oh, wow. So tell us how you got into that. Where are you from originally?
Well, I got to say, I'm kind of like a travel baby. I went to elementary school where you and I got connected, one of our childhood friends. And then I went to high school out in Pennsylvania territory, elementary schools in Jersey territory. And then I went to college out in Ohio territory. Then I relocated to Los Angeles territory. And that's when I found the reason for me to go east. In terms of work is concerned, I was in the banking industry for 9 years. And, I was playing with other people's money. I got tired of that. I thought, this is monopoly money, man. This. And then the crisis hit 2008, where it was like, okay, you know how everybody lost their homes and foreclosed and all that stuff. So I had to make a decision. And I figured, you know what? Let me try to go ahead and be competitive. I'm going to do something so extreme, Chinese. You know what I mean? People are like, what?
Yeah.
I tried the Rosetta Stone, and that was a failure. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pack up and go. And I went, and it was like back 2 luggage. Maybe it was like $15 in my pocket. I had like 2 months to make it happen because they only had a tourist visa. You only have 2 months, and then you got to go back. And I bought a one-way ticket, no round trip. And then from there, history has been made. So,
wow. So you bought a one-way ticket over to China.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been there before?
Never. I didn't know anybody. Didn't even know the language. I was just used to moving. So, going from the East Coast to West Coast, I was like, what's another location? I did the research in terms of, I thought, I can get away with some English. Man, that was not the case, but I figured it out. Wow. That's how I ended up in China.
So let me put this into perspective for myself too, because especially people in the Northeast, you have people in New York, Jersey who live in one area, and like say somebody live in the Bronx, New York, and they don't even know Brooklyn that well, because and they're 40 years old right now, right?
Yeah.
And you have somebody say, "Hey, I'm packing up, buy the one-way ticket to China, and I'm just gonna figure it out when I get there."
Yeah, I know those people, like they're all over the world, those locals, you know what I mean? And we're nomads, so we go out to the black sheep, so to speak, and I just wasn't satisfied with my status, it's like, I know I can do more, but based on the way the economic system and the structure of the country before, I figured I got to move to a location where it fits me. So when I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, it was an easy choice because it was cold weather versus sunny all day. I thought,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's natural. I'm trying to be around the beach and the beautiful women and the opportunities and Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
But for anybody who's comfortable, it's easy to be comfortable, but like 50 Cent, that route to get trying. So I was just trying to make something of my life. That's how it is.
So when you made these transitions, especially to China, what do you think was going to happen? Like what kind of plan did you have in place? I mean, they say you had 2 months to make something happen. Like, were you just, once you land and you kind of figure out something, or you were just planning on using your current skill sets in the banking world to maybe apply for a job over there? Like, what were you thinking?
So I did enough. I did enough research to know that China doesn't want foreigners in their banking system. So, I knew banking was out the door. So I had to. It's like, midlife crisis. People change careers and everything. It's like that. But at this time, I had to figure out how to operate with a time limit. And it was the easiest way to get over here was teach English. So I said, all right, I'm just going to take the TEFL certificate in person, not online. And from there, I can navigate by meeting the locals and try to figure out how I can move. I was telling you, man, every night, I swear I was the most studious student you ever seen. I was like, this TEFL certificate to a point where I feel like I invented it. So when I go out for a job, they can't tell me no. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't as easy just because back then it wasn't a lot of us out there. And they weren't used to seeing American innovation coming from our community. And it was like, we want Europeans or Americans that all the propaganda or the pale skin and all that stuff, they wanted that. So it's buddy I met, you meet people networking, right? Who happen to be, this world is so funny. Homosexual, proud, tall, very vocal. It's the last people you're thinking about. Is I'm trying to connect with somebody that I was with my own community. So we kicked it. And he was like, yo, I'll give you a job. I'll tell the head office. He said, I hate this thing. I'm about to be out. But to come in, there you go.
Oh, wow.
So just being persistent, earlier to my friend, being persistent and having determined, like when you make a decision, everything gets out the way and bam, it starts to happen.
Yeah. Wow. So now I'm looking at some of the stuff you're doing, and we're going to get into all the different facets, but the fashion industry. So now you're in the banking world. You decide you want to go to China. How did you happen to just get into the fashion industry, man?
Great question.
Go ahead.
Well, it's through LA. I've learned about, being healthy, being fit. I was like pretty much a model. I wasn't modeling, full time or anything. I was just looking real cut, real nice. And so I continued it at China because I knew sex sells, so I can get some appeal And I was walking down with my Chinese girlfriend at the time, and some guy just chased me down who was trying to be like, "Hey, do you model?" I was like, no. So it's like, how about you come model? So we signed a contract. And then from there, that was my first exposure to the industry at China. I'm like, wow, I'm at Shanghai Fashion Week. What?
Wow.
So then you took a twist, and then you doing African fashion shows internationally.
Yeah. So it's a big gap in between. So
tell us.
The first year, I just knew that, just like in America, if you're Mexican, they say, speak English, right? So in China, if you don't speak Chinese, you're going to get played. So I spent I learned Chinese in 1 year. So I'm telling you, I was determined. All that people come here to party, play, waste time, waste their life. I was like, you can't survive in a nation without speaking the official language. So I learned Mandarin. Mandarin.
Okay,
Mandarin.
Good. Yep.
There's two different types of major dialects that everybody knows. There's over 44 dialects, but Mandarin is the one that's overpowering, where the new Chinese money is in place. You have Cantonese, where you have the Taiwanese, the Hong Kongese. They're the ones who first established the Chinese Chinatown that you see at America. But now you have this new money, which is the Chinese ones that have, the last 40 years just became broke to rich. They're speaking Mandarin. So when I was doing my research, the North, the coast, Beijing, Shanghai, they speak mostly Mandarin. And you have the South with Guangzhou and Hong Kong, they speak Cantonese. And they call it a dying language because you have the government pushing more Mandarin in the public schools. So you have way more people speaking Mandarin. So that's why I learned this. And then when I learned it, opportunities started open up because you see everything, you read everything. You're like, oh, that's what that means, right? So back to the modeling. When I was modeling, and as a model, you don't really have a say. Do that, do this.
Correct.
To what they were saying, and I'm translating for the other models. Like they said, they're about to go over here in 10 minutes, and next 10 minutes later, we're going over there. I'm like, I don't belong in this modeling position. I belong in a position of authority. I should be able to guide people and telling people what to do. So I left that after maybe, because I was like standing around wasting my time. It's not good use of my time. And I wanted to get more of us in the limelight, because once again, they never had the opportunity for us to showcase our talent. So I created the opportunity, saying, going back to before I did African Fashion Show International, I did Black X. And Black X, at the time, when I was calling myself a misnomer, color, which not, by the way, Chinese people don't recognize color. They recognize.
Say that one more time. Say that again.
So Chinese people do not recognize color. They recognize nationality, meaning that if you call yourself a crayon, they would treat you like a crayon. They'll use you and throw you away.
Yeah.
Because at law, like everything they operate is business and law. And so if you do anything, if you ever notice all the treaties they signed with Africa, that's United Nations all day, international law. Chinese people operate at law. So another nation, they study the laws and then operate. This is why they never lose. And when we operate with emotions and singing and dancing. We don't even look at, is this lawful? Not even legal. So this is why all of the African countries are losing the deals. And they say, we're going to give you money. And they're like, yeah, give me the money. Then if the next you know it, they're not accountable. And then they go back to the contract and go, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and you didn't do that. We're taking your stuff. And people go, oh my God, don't do the Chinese. They're doing unfair deals. No, you didn't study the law.
Yeah.
So, going back to the Black X, when I was calling it, the purpose of it was I needed a name to connect us all, but I learned now that we're not really synonymous. There's huge differences, but it served its platform because I was the first person to do events for us at China. I was the first person to go around to 9 different cities doing events, talking about what they talk about in America. Support your community. Buy, quote unquote, black. Do this. Hire what I started. And from there, now you have across the country, many different events, or anybody who comes to China, they're going to plug into this community that I created that helped us get a platform. So BlackX was the beginning of business for us, because that's what you do when you're in China, because they do business. They're about that guap. So, and then from there, I had to take the business platform and pick an industry. And remember, I couldn't do banking. So I just went with the next pretty women fashion.
Okay.
Boom. and yeah, man, think about it. Everybody likes pretty women, right?
Correct.
And then all the women spend the money. So economically, it makes sense to involve in yourself in an industry where there's makeup, hair, modeling, fitness, health. All of that is like 5 different segments of businesses that can create and support a community so we can hire jobs. And so remember, I came from the banking industry, so I'm just applying everything now through numbers and like economics. So never person from my background implement and then produce it. Because it's one thing, a lot of people talk, but I saw that the real reason why I did fashion, honestly, was our women. When we came out here, the women weren't on fleek, so to speak.
Okay.
They weren't slaying. So the part of that, because they didn't have access to makeup, they didn't have access to hair, they didn't have access to clothes that fit, because this is China. They fit in the skinny, thin, short looking, no booty having dresses. So you go on the street, a guy is going to look at a Chinese girl before they look at his own.
Yeah.
And so then that would make the women feel uncomfortable about really, showing off, because there's nothing to show off other than you looking like a bum down the street. So I don't even look at you, versus Chinese girls having plastic surgery all day and every day. So, so to Shanghai Black Fashion Week served as a catalyst, because we needed to go ahead and have all the women be inspired. So now there are way more women entrepreneurs from our community because they have something that they love: hair, makeup, dress, clothes. We have people that never had the money to put out a professional collection on a page. We provide that, given the fact that we look for sponsorships and we're hustling. We're not rich, we're not balling, but we're able to showcase something that put us on a pedestal now. Therefore, if these women want to do international business to 3 countries now, think about it. You're at America and you only get money nationally. So whenever Trump messes up your money, you stop.
Yeah.
So when you do business, it doesn't matter what happens domestically, you're still getting your guap internationally and you're still winning.
Yeah. Wow. Yo, man, Jaleel, man, you hit on some, oh my goodness, so many different nuggets here. One thing I want to go back to before we get too far from it, because it was the thing that was like the catalyst of bringing you down this road. And that is when you said, hey, you can't do business and you cannot operate if you do not know the language. And you had to take the time to learn the language of the land. And you researched and said, okay, which type is going to be most dominant and which one should I learn? And, you said you learned it in a year, but, along with language, it's not just speaking the language, but it's everything that comes with it. So it's the tonality, it's the body language, it's the communication and relationships that all built around actually speaking the word. So tell us a little bit about that process, because I think a lot of people, they want to grind and they want to get to the outcomes of, where you are now and things that are developing, and they feel they have the skill sets in doing that stuff, but they don't want to spend the time to learn and cultivate themselves to the environment that they're in.
Yeah, great point. You're talking about culture. So
Correct.
People have to adopt to the culture because they bring their American culture into another country and they get resistance and they don't know why. So the language, all it does is just allows you to meet people that would never have been able to before. And so once you have that access, you have information, new information about the land that you cannot Google it, because China is secretive. And most countries usually are, especially if in a language where you have just something simple about like hospitals or police. It's just right there in front of your face, but the protocols are all about customs. So when one person is actually looking to engage, they got to set themselves truly a space for themselves to let go something, make time to get something new. And most of us don't like getting rid of something. They want to add something and add something and add. But we got to basically do, a house cleaning, spring cleaning. So I sacrifice drinking, partying, chasing women, all of that stuff. And I took my mindset as far as how do I survive in this country? And because I met people that get here, 2 weeks later, broke their leg, did having surgery. Now, imagine that. You got to go to a hospital and you can't even speak the language. Who are you going to talk to? Well, do you really trust the doctor? And truthfully, a lot of our people are afraid of the hospitals, not only because it's, from America, but think about it. This dude that don't look like you got this, knife and everything. They don't even be as fluent as telling you why things happen, the process. They just say, take this, and then that's it. The majority of the people are stupid. And so it's very important, not just money, it's important for security and health. And once you have that, you start to give off a different energy that attracts the right people to you that help you meet your goal. So I've had people that come into my life, and they're just revolving doors. They come in that serve this purpose at its given time. And then I had to go back when I found them and say, like that dude that chased me down when I was modeling. Years, I was like, yo, thank you for pointing me out and giving me an opportunity. And he said, you're welcome. Like he knew what he was doing. And he was Chinese. So it's people have to think about it's not really about fiat. They think it's cash. Real money is gold and silver. It's just basically, we ourselves have to accumulate enough services and product to be able to exchange barter. And sometimes that barter is fiat. Federal Reserve notes called US dollars, or Chinese money called RMB. You're trying to pay for something, right? But our community itself, we don't need to necessarily exchange the local currency if we have the service and product that we're already looking for. So like, oh, man, hey, can you do my hair? I'll do your makeup. Boom. Exchange. So that's where people are really thinking that this paper, which is made out of thin air, not really backed by anything, they think they value that versus the friend of a friend of a friend, because the Chinese people, they work through networks. They, they know they're liars. They know that they lie to each other all the time. It's so bad that like this is funny too. Whenever you get to any incident in China, like they're the best actors. Somebody could just bump you and then they fell on the street and they'll just stand on the floor like that commercial. Mom, I fall, I can't get up. They would stay there until the cops come. Could be a half an hour later. Like people just driving by, like, "What, you still on the floor?" Like what? I say that because they don't believe what you say. They see what you do, and that's where copying comes in. That copies are well. So we have to in people's word, and so if you got the result, you full of it.
Yep. And also, can you tell how is the acceptance to, and for lack of better word, because we know that we're not a crayon, but how do they accept the black people in China? Is there a big community there?
They accept you based on how we have. Yeah, I've told you we have large communities now. It's been 3 years. It's been established. So Shanghai, major cities though, from Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou, and even Shenzhen and Hong Kong, there is some. The largest two is Shanghai and Beijing, and they are accepting you as a person.
Okay.
If there's the ones who are not as educated, but you have that opportunity to show them you. Forget about the color of your skin. We're all human. Like, do you show up in this thing with a banging looking suit, fresh top, your shoes on point, shining, with a fresh haircut? It don't matter. They know you polished. But if you come in with a nappy fro, baggy clothes, with the poor mentality of an image, then they'll treat you like that. So I remember, it's all about what they see. Yes. They see materialistic things, yeah? So it's not about, I'm bling-blinging. That's just the hip-hop culture. They think it's money, and they're copying that, by the way. And a disclaimer, they're twerking. They're learning so much. That's how
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show. You can check us out on our social media on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Also on our website, thesuccessjourneyshow.com. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you, I was in a store the other day. I'm in the military. I'm in the Marine Corps. So I'm on a store. I'm not going to say what base. And I'm ordering a burrito. And I'm hearing this music. It's hip hop. But on the TV, they have the video. And when I look up, it's that K-pop, all that kind of stuff. And also then somebody started telling me that China has their own kind of music that sounds exactly like our hip hop.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, like people don't know how powerful we are. We just worry about culture appropriation, where that's just a way to sell our product. Like people are supposed to bite your stuff. Just put a price tag on it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You're gonna be mad if somebody gave you $100. Like, can I twerk like you? $100. Let me help you. Pop it back.
So tell me, man, just, out of curiosity, what are some myths? You've been over there you've been there for now, what, over 10 years or around 10 years?
3 years.
Oh, 3 years. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
No, I've been here for 7 years.
Yeah, because you left right after.
The business community.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because you left right after the 2008 joint, a little after that.
Yes.
So what are some myths that, people from the United States have, or even other areas of the world about that they believed about China that you had to quickly debunk when you moved over there?
Everything is true. There's no myth. It's just there's like 1.7 billion people here, so there's one of everything. Everybody does everything.
Got you.
It's just it's like same thing in America. Like, there's people that they call redneck, and there's the other side, liberals. So if you're homosexual and you're looking for love, come to Shanghai. If you are China, is just being able to assimilate because of language. Now, biggest challenge of the community is people are not taking the time to learn the language.
Gotcha.
So once they learn the language, like the level playing field is equal. And probably they have an advantage, actually, because they can access YouTube, what some Chinese people, a lot of Chinese people can't. That means you're getting two worlds of information, and then you can just apply it where it need be.
So explain that to people, because I've been to the Middle East, and I know I had to use for a VPN for everything because they lock down their internet. They don't want certain things coming in. So explain to people that are listening that never traveled what you mean by you are allowed to listen to YouTube or use YouTube versus the Chinese people, and how is that available to you?
Well, let me just say this. Every country doesn't want its citizens to know something. So the illusion of information that's available, but U.S. is no different than China. And what China does is they don't want the propaganda to come in for the anti to go into their community. They're very proud Chinese people. They are proud of their culture. Unfortunately, the folks who are in power at the U.S. are intimidated by this new power. So they've always get into people's mind, including ours, by propaganda.
Yeah.
And so they cut off that propaganda by not making it accessible for the Chinese people. And the ones who get it are already like tainted because they probably married to someone that's not Chinese. But the point of it is really to protect its citizens from propaganda. Of course, it has this other side where they don't want them to know some stuff either, but the majority of it is the U.S. has Hollywood, put it this way, has a very strong influence around the world, and they can limit it as much as possible by saying you can't access YouTube, you can't access Google, because Google was doing that. They was over here 2009, I believe, or 2011. They were saying you can get any information, and Google is very, they're very strategic. They allow only certain information at the top. And notice it used to be you can click what page you want to go straight to page 10. Now you got to go through every page, and that's tiresome. So they don't want you to get to the very bottom. They want you to go straight to the top and think that's number one. Is that Wikipedia is actually factual, but it's not. It's opinionated. So going back to law again, once you start to learn how to differentiate between fiction and fact, opinions and fact, you will start to see who we really are as the U.S. citizens, the European powers that are domiciled at the indigenous people's land. They're running the show. And that's why the Chinese people know that, and they're stopping it by saying, you need a VPN if you want to access that BS outside.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So tell me, Jaleel, so with everything that you have seen so far and what you have going, what motivates you and what keeps you this as persistent as you are in achieving some of the things that you have achieved over there in China?
Well, I mean, I'm just self-driven. To answer your question, I've read a lot. I used to do Amway back in the day, and
okay.
And I read a lot of positive self-motivational books, and then so now that's a part of my DNA. But more importantly, I like helping other people. So I remember what it's like when I first got here. And when somebody comes in, like you can say half the stuff that I went through no longer exists because we have a community. And it's gratifying to see when somebody walks on my runway, a model becomes popular and famous, and she gets a job from the Chinese people. Or you see a designer who's stumbling, trying to put something together, and then they don't believe yet, but then they get inspired when they see their friend, like, your friend did that? If she could do it, I'd do it. And so the positive energy just starts to bounce. Yeah. And then the haters come, and then they challenge me like, this ain't gonna work. And I'm like, oh yeah? All right. Boom. There it is. Yeah, so it's all around. It's just living life.
Yeah.
And then I set a high goal of what I plan to do for us at China. And I'm telling you, the international stuff that I was talking about, like, we're just beginning. And shows like this really is important because for the first time in the information age, we get to talk to each other internationally. Yeah. And this is a catalyst. I hope whoever are listening, they continue to support the show and spread it. And I can introduce you to some other leaders as well. So we can start sharing information and start working, doing the work.
Yeah.
And somebody won't be afraid to say, let me pack up and go to China or go to whatever country they want to go to try to start something because of the fear of not being able to succeed over there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not enough information. So once you have the information, you got confidence.
Correct.
Yeah. That's it.
Correct. Hey,
yes.
So Jaleel, these people listen to us the world right now. Where, if they're trying to find you on any of your social media platforms, where could they find you?
Best one is the Instagram. I'm more frequent on that. It's Jaleel Hu Shanghai. That's my Instagram handle. You can look me up on Facebook with Jaleel Hu. Type in my name, you'll start to see stuff. Or the platform names on YouTube like African Fashion Show International or Shanghai Black Fashion Week. I've done that in the past. Or my former European HU, John, JOHN. Any one of those is fine. Lincoln, or just email 557645397 at QQ.com. The email, so don't be afraid if you plan to send me an email. We don't use Gmail anymore.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So yeah, and our listeners, we'll have that information in the description under in our podcast as well. So, Jaleel, man, we truly, truly appreciate being able to chop it up with you. And I know there's so much more that we can talk about. Man, I mean, your story is just impressive. The awards that you won and all this, amazing. You know, what is one thing that you would, if you could go back in time, man? What we like to ask our listeners is, if you could go back in time to the Jaleel that was, let's say, before when you moved to LA, you know, or earlier in your life, man, you at that bank, you know, what's one thing that you would say to him now, knowing what you know now through your latest experience in life?
Everything has its reasons, serve its purpose. Like, I was supposed to go this route the way it's supposed to happen. So I don't regret anything. I'm not changing anything. Because I had my biggest challenges where I felt like the world is crashing down, and then next month I see the light. I'm like, wow, man, God.
Yeah.
So anybody who's going through anything, just go through it. It's not gonna keep raining. You're gonna see that sun. You're gonna appreciate the sun way more than you ever did.
Man, you must have saw my quote on Friday. That was my quote on Friday. You can't enjoy the sun without the rain.
Yes, sir. Love it. Marlon, tell the listeners go ahead.
I think too, is there anything I can do for you guys while I'm at China? Because I'm definitely going to spread the word. If they're the type of people you're looking for, I know other people are listening. Because once I spread it out in China, I have over 20,000 followers at China. That have some on my personal, because we have a social media app, which is really, really good. It's like WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook in one. It's called wechat, WECHAT. And I have a registered business out here too. So what can I do to help you and inform your audience and put me to work? I get it done.
Look. Yeah, I would say that we really appreciate that, man. And I would say, for us, one thing we're really our biggest desire is with this platform and when we bring all our guests on and even the listeners out there is that help us spread the news about what success really is. You know, we're trying to I want to say redefine, but really bring out the true definition of success to the world. And success is not built in the Ferrari that you're driving down the road. Success is not built in that huge house that you have on a hill. You know, success is not in having a huge family or a small family, whatever it is. But success is relative to what your desires are, and really just having those three components of having that dream, that drive, that diligence, and that discipline, and applying that to whatever you put your hands to do. And that when you when you come through that you turn around and help that person next to you achieve their goals and their dreams as well. So, I mean, whatever you can do, man, to spread that message and bring people to this platform so that they too can share their stories, man, we'll be truly appreciative of that.
Man, I don't have to say nothing. That was
awesome.
Right, spot on, Rick.
Then I'll have to invite you guys to my podcast. Then we talk about issues at China.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay. And also, I could tell you, Ricky and I don't know so much Ricky, but I'm going to put Ricky into this. We're going to have to take a trip to China, and we're going to have to do one face-to-face.
Even one better, you get a free ticket to my show. So, just we plan it. My next show is in April 20th, 420. Did it on purpose.
Okay.
But if not, what we're planning to do is do another show in Shenzhen later this year, which is South China, and then another one, keep my fingers crossed, to collaborate with Shanghai Fashion Week, which is a really big stage. So either one, you got a ticket.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, man, love it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Love it.
Listeners, we just want to thank you again for joining us for another week. We want to thank Jaleel for joining us and sharing his wisdom and just sharing his story and his journey. And we're so glad and excited to see where he is and just knowing where he's going in life. And we just want to thank you and say, hey, if you could just go to our iTunes, leave a review, go to our website, join our Journey Squad. You can find our website at thesuccessjourney.com. You can find us on Instagram and our social media platforms as the Success Journey, at Success Journey. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear how we're doing. And we also, if you're interested in being a part of this show, hey, leave us a note on any one of those platforms, and we will get back to you. But like I said, this is the end of another show, and we'll see you next week, or here you will be talking to you, not see you yet, but next week at the same time on a Success Journey Show. All right, everyone, have a good one. Peace.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination.